back to the channel, and it's that time of year again, 2025. What we're going to do, let's start the year properly. Let's do what most booktubers do. Let's do 2025 reading plans, and I'm going to explain to you the difficulties I'm having in 2025 with reading, and I'm going to do that by talking about a few of my reading projects. Now, the first project I need to tackle today is going to be my Malazan Book of the Fallen reading project. My read-through of Malazan Book of the Fallen is going to take up an enormous percentage of my reading for 2025 because the next 5 books, as you can see, are absolutely massive. They are all over 1,000 pages, most of them over 1,200 pages, most of them over even 1,300 pages a piece. So in total, let me just get this up, it comes to 6,228 pages for those 5 books. That is 25% of my year's reading in just a single series. That is going to take up quite a bit of time, but I am determined to stick to my original goal of reading Malazan Book of the Fallen within 2 years, and I believe I can get it done by probably spooky season of 2025. That is where I want to clean the decks for, try to get my Malazan Book of the Fallen read through read. I have added an extra book into the middle, so before I start these 5, I will be reading another book in the Malazan universe, just to make it a little bit more difficult on myself. But yeah, project number 1 is my Malazan read through. Project number 2 I need to talk about is my 50 books to read before I'm 50. So every year I need to read at least 5 of these to try and keep on top of the list. I'm going to aim for about 6 this year. I've got a few of them here. It'll be books on my bucket list, genre classics, literature, stuff like that. Neuromancer by William Gibson, because it is like a genre classic. We've got Swan Song by Robert McCammond. Everyone has been telling me I should get to. I've got Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I love War and Peace, so really excited to get to this one. Very big kind of bump on my 50 to read before I'm 50 because I want to get to it so much and it's so thick. The Man in the High Castle by Philip K. Dick. Another one that's really, really high up on my 50 books to read before I'm 50. So yeah, 50 books to read before I'm 50. These are just a few of them. There are a couple of others on the list. I'd like to get to, things like The Time Machine. I'd like to get to Phantom of the Opera, Cyrano de Bergerac. There's lots of books on that list, but I'm going to have to box clever because of how many pages Malazan is taking up this year. But I want to get to at least 5, if not 6 or 7 of my books from my 50 to read before I'm 50 list. Right, project number 3 should come as no surprise, and that is to continue reading my established fantasy series that I have going on, which is quite a few if you watch the channel. First of those being The Wheel of Time. I'd like to get to Crown of Swords this year. I would like to actually get 2 books from that series done this year if I can, but I'll see how I go. I'd like to continue with John Gwynne. Up next, A Time of Blood. I'd like to get to that. I'd like to get to at least 1 of the Witcher books this year. I think next up is The Tower of the Swallow. They're getting a bit thicker, the Witcher books, so I might not be able to get 2 of them in this year, but I will try to get 2 in if I can. Realm of the Eldlings. Again, I've just picked up a new trilogy in that. I would like to get to Goldenfall this year. Again, these are getting longer as they go through the trilogy as well, but I would like to get to Goldenfall. And let's not forget Mr. Joe Abercrombie. I'd like to get to the next standalone in the First Law series, and that is The Heroes. I'd like to get all these standalones done so I can start the next trilogy in that series as well. But yeah, established fantasy series has to be a focus on the channel, has to be something I continue to strive for. Project number 4. I said I was going to continue to try and read at least 1 sci-fi book every quarter. I will definitely get that done this year, I'm sure. I would really like to read books like The Time Machine this year. I would like to read Man in the High Castle this year. I'd like to continue with my Red Rising books. I'd like to read Golden Sun this year. And I'd like to read William Gibson's Neuromancer this year. And these are a small selection of the sci-fi books that are on my wish list. Things like Shadow the Torture are also on there as well. I'm sure I'll get some Harlan Ellison in. So hopefully 5 or 6 sci-fi novels, not just the 4, 1 a quarter. But yeah, carrying on with sci-fi, definitely one of my projects. So with so many pages of Malazan to read, what kind of things are going to fall by the wayside? What I don't want to impact spooky season too much. I'd still like to read some H.P. Lovecraft. I'd still like to read some Stephen King. I'd still like to get in some Edgar Allan Poe. So I'll try to leave October alone as much as I can. I may have to read a little less crime and thriller this year. I would still like to get to some Agatha Christie. Her stuff is very punchy. I really enjoy the coziness of it. They're usually under 300 pages, which does help. I really like to get some Sherlock Holmes as well, some Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I really don't want to let that slip either. So I'm looking at Michael Connelly and Tom Clancy and novels like that. Some of those really, some of those thicker novels. And I'm wondering how much crime and thriller I can fit in this year. I like to try and read at least 5 crime and thriller novels every year. This year is going to be tough because of the page count. I'll see how I go. I would like to get those authors slid in here as well. But Clancy especially, I think the next book up for him is over 800 pages for me. It's going to be tough. I'm going to do what I can. 2025, I'm going to try and hit the Malazan hard, get that done by spooky season so I can see what I can slip in towards the end of the year. It's going to be a tough year. Let me know if you're going to have a tough reading year as well. Put it in the comments below. What are your reading plans for 2025 and what books are you prioritizing that you do not want to let slip off your TBR?